As stated before, men and women are already ridiculed in the media for their intelligence and looks. This makes things even more difficult if men and women enjoy dressing in what most of society considers the wrong clothes.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh my God.
Chris, wait.
Lydia, come on. We gotta call the cops. We gotta dial 911 now. Why? Well, Mrs. Doubtfire. He's a she. What? He's half man, half woman. What? Yes, I swear.
What? No, just calm down.
Chris.
Just relax, please.
He's gonna get it in the balls. Yeah. She's got him. She's got everything.
People who discover someone is transgender tend to go through similar feelings and sometimes reactions as the two children in this clip from Mrs. Doubtfire do. But why is this? In Shakespeare's time and before, only men and boys were able to act, meaning that many of them had to take on the role and look of the opposite gender. What has changed in the last 400 years to make it unnatural for men to wear dresses? Perhaps it is the idea that men who choose to wear the opposite gender's clothing are just milliseconds away from completely losing their minds, or are inherently evil. This is portrayed in the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the children's show The Powerpuff Girls. In the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the character Dr. Frankenfurter is a strange, sex-driven man who flounces about in women's lingerie, seducing everyone and killing those who steal the limelight from him. In the Powerpuff Girls, the most feared and evil villain that the superpowered kindergarten triplets have to face is only known as him, who also dresses in women's clothing, is madly sexual more so with men, is fairly insane, and even depicts a very similar look to the devil. Both of these depictions can create a negative image for transgender people in the real world. People tend to see these examples from the media and believe that all men who wear clothing of the opposite gender are crazy, homosexual, jealous, and dramatic men whose only drive is to have sex. It is true that some gendered people do hold these attributes. However, a transgendered person is not more likely to have these traits than any other person. This is why it is important for consumers to really think about the messages that are portrayed in movies and shows in order to ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to express themselves and be treated as a fellow human being rather than a label.
I'm here to inform you on the negative stereotype the media has done a great job portraying to police officers. The media has given cops a very negative stereotype, giving them the worst image possible in the eyes of the public. Thanks to television shows and movies, they've been portrayed as lazy, stupid individuals who do not do their job. But worse than that, thanks to the news media, they've been portrayed as very bad people who are just out there to get you. Yes, there are incidents where cops have done terrible things to get this stereotype. But because a certain few have messed up, do we have the right to look at all cops the same? Truth is, most cops are simply out there to do their jobs, to serve and protect the community. For every time one cop has done something bad, another 1,000 may have put a criminal behind bars and perhaps saved a life. Unfortunately, you won't hear this from the media. Instead, they've put cops in shows like The Simpsons, South Park, or Reno 911 and portrayed them as total idiots. The Simpsons, for example, has Springfield's Chief Wiggum, an overweight, lazy cop always eating donuts and not doing his job right. South Park's finest is Officer Barbrady, the most unintelligent individual on the whole show, pretty much pointless to their community. Then there's Reno 911, a show with several cops, all idiots, crooked, and two do not do their job right. Fortunately, these shows are meant for nothing more than entertainment, and hopefully the viewers do not actually take these portrayals of cops too seriously. On the downside, the portrayal the public has taken in is the one the news media has fed them, cops being bad people. This is due to the fact that the media only gives negative stories on cops. Anytime a cop does something bad, you don't hear the end of it. For weeks, that's what will be headline news, and that's how it always has been. What about the good stories on cops? We never hear those stories on the news. Why? Simple. We as humans would rather see the bad stuff. It's more entertaining to us for some reason, as well as gives us an excuse to criticize. The news will not post all the good stuff cops do because, for one, I said before, people won't watch it. And two, if the news put every single good thing a cop did in their daily reports, that's all there would be. In other words, there are too many good things cops do daily to report, there'd simply be no time. In a sense, the public isn't exactly to blame for the stereotype cops have been given, but more the news media. If that's all people hear about cops is the bad things they've done, then they don't know any better. Perhaps if the news showed the good things cops have done, even if it were just once in a while, perhaps they'd have a bit of different stereotype than they have today. Till then, keep an open mind about cops. Don't assume they're all bad, all idiots, or however it is you look at them. You may need them one day, and I bet they won't look like such bad people then.
Police officers are not the only group stereotyped negatively. For instance, what's the first thing you think of when you hear the word pit bull? Most people think of all the horror stories, people getting mauled, and all the things they hear on the news. You might become a little apprehensive or a little anxious when thinking about the word. But why is this? These thoughts and behaviors are mainly caused by stereotypes. An easy example found in the media would be to simply type in pit bulls into Google Images. It'll leave you with images such as these. These pictures are without doubt frightening. But is this really how pit bulls behave? The answer to this is no. Through news media, pit bulls have been left with a bad reputation. This breed has many misconceptions. For instance, many people believe that pit bulls are inherently aggressive. In other words, it's in their genes. This is false. Pit bulls can be aggressive, but only due to bad environments or bad owners. Looking from an opposing view, have there been reports of dog attacks consisting of pit bulls injuring or even killing people and other animals? Yes. These dogs are more than capable of causing injury and permanent damage. But thinking from a larger perspective, aren't most, if not all, dogs capable of doing the same? Breeding society of this breed is not going to end dog attacks. This is because pit bulls are not the only dog that can be aggressive. This stereotype has caused many problems for pit bulls. Being a breed of dog that has a bad reputation is not going to help these dogs get homes. Why would somebody want to bring a pit bull, aggressive and evil dog, into their family's home? A shelter owner observes that pit bulls are routinely looked over by potential adopters, fearful of the breed's vicious reputation. People tend to believe everything they hear, particularly on the news. Whether that information is true or not, people do not tend to see the bigger picture. The news only reports incidents that are out of the ordinary, or tragic incidents. Do you really think a news station is going to report on a neighborhood stray pit bull not attacking anyone or doing anything? No, nobody would watch the station. This is what people do not understand. So to recap, not all pit bulls should be considered a threat to society. Are there some pit bulls that are mean and violent? Yes, but this is not a characteristic of pit bulls. It is merely a generalized belief that has been portrayed through the media. Pit bulls should be recognized for the loving, loyal, obedient behaviors that they are more than capable of having. Take a look at the images that media doesn't show you.
But no matter what I do, I'm accused of looking for a fight. Yeah, 'cause I'm a pit bull, a big brown red-nosed pit bull.
As you can see, the media has its own way to show consumers the world. But there will always be another side to the story. Whether it be women in ads, men as fathers and husbands, the way people dress or the jobs that they have, even when you confront certain animals, always remember that we are all individuals trying to meld together in this world. So don't let some flimsy papers and a flashing screen tell you what to think. Think critically and meet each new being with an open mind.